Hey everybody, good morning. Dr. Birchler here, Life After Lyme Disease. I wanted to take some time this morning to just lay out a little bit about really what Life After Lyme Disease is, who it's for, how I could help you. I spend most of the time in this group just trying to provide you with some perspective and things that will really help you in your own mind be able to get on the right track and help yourself. So that being said, for people that are actually looking for help, commonly people will message me or ask for questions, information, and I know that I don't put a lot of that type of, whether you want to call it sales or description or things in this group. So I want to help people, and if you're looking for help, I just want you to have information about what that looks like and really what life after Lyme disease is. I've shared my story before in other videos. That's really the root of what life after Lyme disease is born out of. So that being said, I don't really want to go through all that again. I'll just give a very brief summary. For those of you, if there's anybody watching that has not heard that, just give you a real quick summary and then get into really what life after Lyme disease is, really who it's for, who would be the people that are going to get the most out of it. So I am a doctor of chiropractic, so I'm in the natural healthcare field, and my areas of education have certainly been chiropractic, and then also basically I would say detoxification, the science of detoxification or natural health through using herbs, dietary change, things actually helping the body heal itself, right? And so I have counseled many people, done many teaching classes and things really for my community and my patients, and so that really was my life before I encountered Lyme disease. And 2016, I had Lyme disease. Same year, I had a child at the time who was 3 going on 4 who had Lyme disease. Had a big wave of Lyme disease come through my region of the country. And from my own experience and challenge and needing to overcome for myself, needing to help my child, my son in this case, then started having people in my practice and my community also needing help. And so just kind of a natural extension of that whole process of my own journey led to helping others. And there were so many points along the way of that path of kind of figuring my own situation out and healing from that, where it was very clearly shown to me that this is part of my purpose, and the purpose of it was for me to help more people. And so that's what I've tried to do, albeit imperfectly, and maybe not as rapidly in some cases as I would like. But that really was the background of why life after Lyme disease exists. So in terms of what life after Lyme disease is as a business, what I would say is the core idea behind it is helping people, helping Lyme warriors out there that are trying to help themselves, or maybe their families, maybe kids, maybe loved ones, things like that, helping them help themselves. And I know that's kind of a cliche type of a phrase there, but that's what's actually effective. So the differentiating point here that I would say is fundamental to this whole conversation of anybody dealing with chronic illness, in this case Lyme disease, is a concept of a paradigm of disease and treatment versus a paradigm of health and healing. In the world you live in, the world that you're surrounded in, what's being sold to you every day of your life through marketing, through the whole system, that you might not even recognize there is a system, there is a financial interest and an ideology that has won, that has control, and every day of your life you're being programmed in that method of thinking. That is a model of disease and model of treatment. So for folks that are stuck in illness, they're focused on disease, and they're focused on treatment of the disease. And it is basically a passive process, right? Disease, problem, I'm ignorant of that, the doctor's smart, and they treat you. There's kind of just this passive treatment of what we would call disease. And that's very different from somebody who's focused on health and saying whatever it is that we call disease, sickness, illness, let's look at it as a lack of health, and what's required to be healthy, and let's facilitate our own body to heal, because no doctor can heal. I can't heal a person. No other doctor can heal a person either. We have different methods that we're going to try to interface or influence that person, but no doctor can heal. Only life can heal. So the role of any person, whether doctor, coach, counselor, friend, whoever it is that's helping someone on their journey, they're simply assisting that person's mind, body, spirit to heal. So that is kind of the underpinning idea of life after Lyme disease, is to help Lyme warriors, those suffering, those in the battle for their health, for their families, for their kids, for themselves, to be able to help themselves through this process using a health and healing paradigm as opposed to a disease and treatment paradigm. So what's the desired outcome for people? Well, if you look at my logo, it says get your life back after Lyme disease. And I would emphasize the word after. So if there was a specific person or scenario that I could really describe or say life after Lyme disease was for, it's for people that have had Lyme disease. They've been treated medically. They've had their disease treatment window, and that has already occurred. And of course, some people might not get there and whatnot. There's all kinds of scenarios, unclear diagnosis, negative tests, all these kind of things. But most people have had their diagnosis and their treatment, and then they're still sick after that. So they've had this experience with acute Lyme disease. They've been treated for that, and now they're still having problems, maybe similar problems to what they had initially, oftentimes new or different ongoing problems. And so they're trying to get their life back or their health back after already being treated for Lyme disease. So everything that kind of disease and treatment model had for them, it ran its course, and there's really nothing more for them, and yet you're trying to get your life or your health back after Lyme disease. So that's really the outcome we want, is we want people to get pain-free, healthy, and naturally after Lyme disease. So I'm not a medical physician. I'm not in the antibiotic space. I'm not working with that. We're really looking for natural, strategies and approaches to be able to help people, get their health back after Lyme disease. So one of the underlying, I think, concepts that I want to communicate for people is the idea of empowerment, because a disease and treatment model, in my opinion, is there is a value to that. There's a time and a place for all things, but it's not really an empowering model. It doesn't give somebody knowledge, doesn't give them understanding, doesn't give them skills, so that there's no necessarily mental shift. There's just you have this and let's treat that kind of a process. So really what I want for people, the whole point of life after Lyme disease, is to empower people at the end of what anybody else, particularly medically, has to offer them, to empower them with real ideas, real strategies, real skills and things to get themselves better, to change their outcome, to change the outcome for maybe their family or their children after Lyme disease. So that's one of the underlying really concepts that I would want to, as an outcome for people, is empowerment. To get to a point of empowerment, there's a few things I think that need to happen. One would be like information. So people, they're looking for information. There's a lot out there, and it can be overwhelming. So information is one thing, and then getting that to a point of knowledge, having it be kind of useful, or a point of understanding where people actually can take the information that's coming at them, put it in a frame or paradigm of the way, the nature of things, so that they can have some actual understanding for it, and then that gives them ability to apply it. So probably some people have heard the term that knowledge is power, and then some people rephrase that and say, well, applied knowledge is power. It's that concept, right? We want to get you to a point of knowledge, understanding, being able to apply it, and that will give you empowerment over the condition, over being able to change your outcome. And talking with a lot of people and working with a lot of people in my career, and of course my own experience in my own life, there's that old saying, you don't know what you don't know. People don't know what they don't know, and so there's a blind spot. People oftentimes think that what they've done or tried, or that they know, like that's, well, they've already done everything. Well, it's not that they've done everything, it's that they've done what they know, but what they know is frankly very small. It's not enough to get them the result. And I'm not saying that in any kind of a way of like, that people aren't intelligent or anything like that. We all have that. We all have massive blind spots in our life, certainly outside of our areas of expertise. And like many things in life, the further you go and the more you think you know, the more you realize you don't know. But that can be effective because that leads you to a sense of kind of humility and openness, and you can kind of extract principles, but understanding that a lot of times we know very little in terms of specifics in life. So that whole concept of you don't know what you don't know gets, for a person to get there and actually get over that, there's like a mental, psychological, even maybe a spiritual state that I would call getting to a point of acceptance. People that stay stuck thinking that they know more than they do and thinking that they've tried everything, they're not at a point of acceptance of what life has given to them, acceptance of other people that could help them. They're not at a point of acceptance. They're at a point of frustration and stuckness and wishing it was different, or thinking they know more than they do or something like that. And that's not conducive to them to getting well. So I think for people who are stuck, the outcome I want for people is to get to a point of acceptance, kind of openness to be able to receive. So that's been one key thing in my life that I've had some experiences with, when I learned where I was not open to receiving. And in order to get a different outcome, in order to have your prayers answered, or whatever you would say, that we've got to get to a point of being open to receive. So the outcome I want for people, in order to help them get their health back, is to get to a point of acceptance, be open to receiving, and then be able to try to provide them information and paradigms and principles so that they can apply those, so they can actually get the outcome, which is a change in healthiness. Okay, I know that seems a bit philosophical or whatever, but those mental states, those are the things that are going to have to be kind of fixed or dealt with before we can actually do anything different and get a different result. So